Hey guys, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss Apocalypse, American Horror Story, Season 8 of American Horror Story, Apocalypse. Um, a lot, a lot, a lot happens within the 10 episodes. So it starts out with World War III. The nuclear warheads are, annihilating all the major cities. The 7 billion people of the world are dead, minus those that are special enough to get to certain outposts. Outpost 3 is in California. It's run by this character, Miss Venipal. And then Kathy Bates' character, Miss Mead, who have people who either paid $100 million a ticket to be there or who had special DNA to be there. So 3 episodes are Outpost 3 stuff. And then there's some flashbacks here and there. Then this character, Michael Langdon, who is the Antichrist, comes into play, played by Cody Fern, who did a great job with Michael, past and present Michael, really great job. And Michael is coming from the Cooperative, which is another word for Illuminati, to see who gets to go to Sanctuary, because the other outposts have been overrun by the radiated, cancer-ridden, cannibalistic beings that the nuclear warheads have left, to roam the plains. So then these 2 characters, Timothy and this other girl who got in for their DNA, steal his laptop, which is still working somehow, and the date says October 2021. So then the internet was in an uproar for a very long time because they saw the date on his laptop and they're like, but at the end of season 5, Hotel, Billie Dean Howard, the medium, played by Sarah Paulson. Sarah Paulson plays a billion characters, but she goes to the Hotel Cortez on Halloween night 2022. So how the hell did Billie Dean go to the Hotel Cortez in 2022 if the apocalypse had already happened in 2021? Right? Everyone was very confused. So episode 1, 2, and 3 was like outpost stuff, apocalypse stuff. But then 4 started all of this backstory stuff where Michael was on a crusade to wipe out all of the witches in the Louisiana Coven. But then there's a warlock school in California where Outpost 3 actually is. So Michael becomes, he's started to train as a warlock in this particular school, which becomes Outpost 3. And he completes all of their tests, and then council meeting of the head witches and the head warlocks come together because the warlocks want the witches to allow Michael to do the 7 Wonders test to see if he is the next Supreme, to see if he is the Alpha ahead of the Supreme. We have all of the witches from season 3, and then Michael, does his own thing. He pulls Madison out of hell. He pulls Queenie out of the Hotel Cortez, which was great seeing the Hotel Cortez, but it was a different set. I don't know how many people actually noticed that. I noticed it. It was a different set. Different entryway, different set, as in a hotel room. Then we had Michael bring Misty Day back out of her hell, and he's like, see, I can do all these things. I'm clearly the more superior one. And he's still figuring out his Antichrist-ness. He's been figuring it out for a very long time. He had this Satanist, played by Kathy Bates, Mrs. Mead, take care of him once Jessica Lange's Constance Langdon got rid of him. And then Michael eventually needed a replacement of Mrs. Mead, so he had these nerds make a robot of her to be in charge of Outpost with Miss Venipal. Then you had various moments in Murder House, which was great to see again. You had closure on Moira, whose bones got taken away from the house and buried with her mom, so that was a nice little ending to her story. You had Tate, you had Violet, you had her parents, you had all these other ghosts that have died there before. You had Bo wanting to play with the ball. So Madison, Emma Roberts' character, and one of the new warlocks, whose name I don't remember, go to Murder House because the Coven purchases Murder House to get as much information on Michael Langdon as possible because they knew that he had some connection to that house. So because it's a Hellmouth, they got a lot of information. Constance Langdon, played by Jessica Lange, killed herself in the house so she could be with her kids, for as long as she needed to. They explained that he was born of evil with humanity, so that's why he becomes the Antichrist. Then Constance winds up getting rid of him at some point, and then he winds up going to Kathy Bates' Mrs. Mead character, and we covered that. So that was the murder house bit. Michael got all the girls out of hell. He brought people back from the dead. Myrtle's back because Cordelia needed her guidance, and yet the world is still coming to an end. Cordelia is still the Supreme, but there's another Supreme coming about in the character of Mallory, who's played by Billie Lourd, who does a fantastic job with this Mallory character. Let me tell you, she is awesome. Emphasis on the syllables right there. So then it turns out that Mallory will become the next Supreme so long as Sarah Paulson's character of Cordelia dies. But then they also talk about a spell where, like, you can go back in time to change an event so long as you have a personal artifact. So they have Mallory test it out and go back to 1918 Russia when Anastasia's family was being overthrown or something to that extent. But she couldn't actually save Anastasia. Anastasia wound up dying again. But it proved that she could actually go back in time and then come back to the present. So then there's a witch battle, there's a warlock battle, there's witches and warlocks, there's dead people all over the place, there's people coming back to life, there's people dying again. Emma Roberts winds up back in hell. Papa Legba comes back with Nan, thankfully, to try to make a deal with Cordelia, and then they do make a deal, and then she trades the new Voodoo Queen for Angela Bassett's character, Marie Laveau, coming back for a hot second. She was on the screen for maybe 3 minutes, but still, like, her character was back briefly. Cordelia, Sarah Paulson's Cordelia winds up killing herself in order to give Mallory enough power to go back in time to make sure that Michael Langdon never succeeds in becoming the Antichrist and bringing upon the apocalypse, which she then does by running him over with a car after Constance kicks him out of the house. And then he's dying in the street, and he's like, "Grandma, bring me to the house so I can be with you forever." And she's like, "Go to hell." And that's the final line that Jessica Lange has, is "Go to hell." Beautiful. So then we go there's a lot of flash forwards too after that, because then Mallory is then narrating. She's like, "No one else will know that I actually saved everyone, and, you know, I have a lot of street cred now with the demons because they think it's cool that I took out, you know, the son of Satan." So, like, Nan got back in the altered timeline. Nan comes back a bit, but she likes hanging out with Papa Legba because Papa Legba treats her really well and lets her play around and stuff like that. Misty comes back from hell. Mallory goes back to, not Mallory, Madison Montgomery, Emma Roberts' character, goes back to hell, her hell, which is a retail job. Go figure. I know it will. And then, what? Who else? Oh, Mallory convinces Queenie not to go to the Hotel Cortez so she doesn't get trapped there and get eaten by vampires. Then, what? Mallory saves the day. She changes the timeline. She saves the day. The timeline of Billy Dean Howard talking to what's-his-face on Halloween 2022 on Devil's Night is still in effect. So the timeline is all situated based off of Billy Dean Howard going to the Hotel Cortez on October 31st, 2022. I don't know what else to say. A lot of information was brought to this. There was a lot of Satan stuff, but it's interesting because there's the satanic stuff in American Horror Story. There's the satanic stuff in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. And it's funny because you have the actual Church of Satan rebelling the hell out against all of these fictitious versions of how the church actually works. So it's entertaining reading the tweets of whoever's in charge of the Church of Satan, saying that Hollywood is just on a campaign for this satanic panic, and it's putting a bad image on everyone. And I love that satanic panic. I thought it was very smart. It's a very smart organization. It's very smart how they are respectful of everyone's entitlement to practice what they want so long as no one gets harmed. Because it's not so much on the sacrifice scale. Certain sects obviously do certain things, but as a whole, just like how not every Christian is a racist, but some are. Different religions have different versions for some reason. I don't understand it. Religion has done nothing but cause harm to the entire planet, let alone humanity, but c'est la vie. So it's interesting with this Satanic Panic that Horror Stories version of the Satanic Panic was very brutal, and then so was Chilling Adventures of Sabrina's on Netflix. Oh, the final aspect of this series is the two DNA special kids wind up meeting each other again, and then wind up getting knocked up a year later, so they become teen parents to a new Antichrist, because then it's another 3-year time jump after a 1-year time jump after they meet. And then the new Church of Satan acolytes or whatever come to help bring about the new Antichrist, I guess. And then the woman who played Pepper in season 2 and season 4 was back as a satanic acolyte alongside Kathy Bates. Awesome. I love her. She's an awesome actress. And the woman who played Eve in season 4, Freak Show, was one of the guards in the Outpost 3 for a couple of episodes. And I thought she was a great addition too. And I loved seeing just a camera shot of Eve, Evan Peters, and Kathy Bates, because the three of them would be in a lot of scenes together in Freak Show. Freak Show is the best horror story. There's no getting around that. It has the best character development, has the best protagonist concept for characters amongst all the characters, not just one single character. Best villain, Twisty, of course. But it was nice seeing the actors come together again. I don't know what else to say. It was a lot to process. I don't know how I feel about the timeline being altered, but I'm happy the timeline was altered to coincide with Hotel Cortez visit in 2022. So that's fine. But it was very X-Men. It was very X-Men to me. X-Men, Days of Future Past. That's just what I got from it. This Days of Future Past X-Men. Let me just alter the timeline to make a new timeline. Which is fine, but is that what every anthology series is going to do now? Because X-Men did it, which is a Fox property, and Horror Story is a Fox property, and they're doing it. And we know that Marvel's going to be doing some timeline stuff because Ant-Man is currently, in that void, about to do some time jumping. Is this the new way of storytelling? I guess so. We shall see. Let's just see with the next Avengers movie in May. If my theory and most everybody's theory is also true with time travel. What'd you think? I didn't hate it. I loved seeing fan favorites. That was good. I love seeing the homage to fan favorites. It was good. Cody Fern did an awesome job with Michael. Awesome job. And Evan Peters is great in everything he does. And Sarah Paulson is great in everything she does. And Emma Roberts is great in everything she does. Yeah. I liked it. I liked that a lot. Solid 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. What'd you guys think? Join the conversation down below. Mucho mahalo.